Hey, I'm JJ. This channel's about helping intermediate drummers become advanced. You've read the title, so let's just get into it. So you've seen these practice pad exercises everywhere. The videos get tons of views, the books are the most popular, and rudiments are now seen as an essential part of drum practicing. The idea is that improving your hands by practicing rudiments on a practice pad will improve your drum kit playing. So this is shit advice for anyone who's not a beginner drummer, and I'll explain why. The main problem is that rudiments are not specific to the actual goal, which is getting better at drums. In a standard practice pad setup, there's no kick drum, so you can't practice your feet coordination or speed, and the touch and rebound is not really very similar to a drum. So most parts of drumming aren't helped by the actual rudiments either. Unisons aren't improved, which are more common in actual playing than flams or drags. And most grooves have constant lead hand notes with the snare on 2 and 4, but most rudiments have the same number of notes on each hand. Look out for my video dropping soon about the myth of fixing your weak hand. The only things that are helped are technique, speed and control of the hands. Hand control and technique are really important, but they should have been developed to like a functional level at least when you're a beginner, and they still get better through normal playing anyway. A common argument against this is that the mechanics of certain rudiments replicate stuff you'd play on the drum kit. Here's Rob Brown's video about this.
Today, to change your mind, I'm going to give you the reason why you should be practicing rudiments all the time. As they progress and they start to get harder, each one starts to introduce a different sequence of mechanics with the hands. Killer exercise for developing the left hand especially. This is a super valuable tool that I've been able to use when I'm playing the snare, like all the time.
Although I really like his videos and the concept sounds cool, practicing the pad stuff he shows would be a really inefficient way to practice. This is because the rudiment he shows uses flams, which are by definition off the beat, which is different to the groove, which has the ghost notes on the beat. Mastering the rudiment he shows wouldn't even guarantee you being able to play the groove anyway. I think a much more efficient way of practicing would be to practice the actual groove he shows with variations of it, but on an actual drum kit. Even if you don't have access to a drum kit, I think playing on your leg with sticks would still be better. This is because you can include the feet, which are quite important to the groove. Look at the best drummer in the world, Matt Garska. When using the practice pad, he plays a complex drum pattern with just the hands, rather than finding some flam style rudiment that poorly mimics it. Later in the video, he specifically states to avoid flamming when practicing this.
Usually what I'm looking for is that there's no phasing, well first of all no flamming.
In another video, he says he avoids paradiddle-diddles and more simple rudiment stuff in favor of groupings of 5 and 7.
Actually, why I've avoided paradiddles and paradiddle-diddles and double paradiddles is because, I pursued them for a long period of time, but then I was kind of like, I want to move away from what everybody else is playing, you know? I want to move away from that sound.
He also finds ways of orchestrating the patterns between the hands and feet, which cannot be replicated on a practice pad.
Usually, patterns happening between the kick and the right hand.
So the best drummer in the world uses the practice pad in a completely different way. That's because he's learned that the best way to practice grooves is to play them in the most similar way to the way you play them on the drum kit. Something I have an even bigger problem with is the obsession with hand speed. I would consider my hand speed to be average for a late intermediate drummer, but I've never been limited by my hand speed, except like when I'm playing a blast beat, not when I'm actually in any playing situation. However, there have been many times where my foot speed and foot precision has limited me. In fact, foot precision was the main thing that improved in my last video. I'm quite sure that my hands are faster than some pro drummers like Steve Jordan, yet they would sound better in virtually any playing situation because they're better at more important skills, like timing and having a good swung feel. I think practice pads as a product are really overrated as well. So let's compare a standard practice pad to drumming on your legs with hands or with sticks. if you are away from your kit, I think a practice pad on a stand with like the Drumeo practice kick thing would be quite good. But at that price point, you could get a crappy electronic drum kit, which would be better. Or you could play on your legs, or like hire a studio, or just like stop being away from your drum kit. Like, you're a drummer, what are you doing? You're wrong! So practicing on a practice pad, especially traditional Rudiments, is basically a waste of time for intermediate or advanced drummers. And that's because there's no feet, and the touch and rebound poorly replicates a drum. So the best option would be to practice on a drum kit, or just on your legs. And that's because you can practice more important skills, like timing and feel.